Peace to your feet, we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confused. From the streets to the world, get the real, no cap. Breaking headlines, put the truth on the map.
Yeah, fast with the facts, we don't play no games. Reporting what's real, we ain't chasing fame. Call Peace TV, stay locked, stay tuned. If you want the real talk, we deliver it soon. Call Peace TV, we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confused.
From the streets to the world, get the real, no cap. Breaking headlines, put the truth on the map. Fast with the facts, we don't play no games. Reporting what's real, we ain't chasing fame. Call Peace TV, stay locked, stay tuned.
Hey y'all, hey, back with another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about a young lady by the name of Raja McQueen, who went missing back in 2021 at the age of 27. It's currently been 4 years since she's been missing. I knew about this story and I was keeping up with this story, but at the time I wasn't reporting on stories or anything like that. But now they have updates about what possibly happened to her and possibly persons of interest who were involved, which is one of the guys is an ex-boyfriend of hers by the name of Stanley Williams, and he's being looked at as someone that possibly could have unalived Raja. So I'm going to play news clippings of back when she went missing, and then I'll give you the updated story.
Cleveland woman's disappearance is a case that investigators have yet to solve. It's been more than a year since Raja McQueen's family and friends have heard her voice. She went missing in June of 2021. Raja and her 2018 silver Nissan Sentra have not been seen since. Has been in contact with Raja's family since the beginning, and tonight she talked to relatives who are beyond frustrated.
It's been 461 days since Raja McQueen's family and friends have seen or heard from her. As the days continue to add up, so do the questions. Questions like, why is it taking so long to find her? And are investigators doing everything they can? I first met the McQueen family in July of 2021, just weeks after Raja went missing.
We were, marching, we were putting up flyers.
Periodically following up with any updates in the case.
Hello, missing person since 2021, Raja McQueen.
I was getting, calls every single day.
Now, more than a year after her disappearance, Raja McQueen's cousin, Alicia Kirkland, feels like their hope is dwindling. As the days carry on, so does the weight of not knowing.
Sometimes the frustration of how long things have taken and just the discouragement, it changes people.
In May, police released city surveillance footage of the last time Raja was spotted, getting into her 2018 silver Nissan Sentra at a gas station on East 131st Street and Harvard Avenue. Around 4 hours later, that car is seen going west on Harvard, but a man, not Raja, is driving it, and there are visible bullet holes in it. Police have identified and interviewed that man.
I'm not saying that she's missing anymore. I'm saying something happened. Something happened. And we need to figure out what happened, and we need to figure out who's responsible.
Cleveland missing persons detective Kevin Callahan has worked on Raja's case since day one. He says while it's taken longer than he's wanted, the case is not cold.
We're putting all the pieces together and we're close.
He says the FBI is actively assisting his investigation, and he's getting fresh eyes to look at it as well.
I'd like to do this as fast as I can so the family has answers, but we also don't want to jeopardize anything if it does lead to a prosecution at the end.
Kirkland says that they need more resources, more publicity, and questions why some cases are in the spotlight more than others.
Sometimes it's not a race thing, it's a class thing. It's classism, what you're able to afford.
And while stretched thin, their hope is not lost. And Callahan says he is confident they will solve this case.
I've never had a case that remained open.
To words like how we feel, or it's unbelievable.
If you know something, say something. That is the plea of a local family searching for years now for their loved one.
The mom of two, Nicole, vanished in 2021. Where is she? What happened?
Continuing our coverage on this case.
We just want Rachel home.
2 years too long without Rachel McQueen. Her disappearance still a mystery. She was last seen June 26, 2021 on Cleveland's east side.
Okay.
Her bubbly personality so dearly missed by her family.
It's unbelievable. She will never, ever be gone this long without communicating. Like, my mom is sick. She has stage 4 cancer. Like, days are limited for her. You think she's gonna go and not call her mom?
Her face now on billboards and missing posters. Her name said out loud at marches.
Like Roger McQueen.
All while investigators continue piecing together her disappearance.
We will never, ever give up on this case.
Police say McQueen was last seen in the passenger seat of her 2018 Nissan Sentra near 131st and Harvard. Just a few hours later, surveillance cameras show her car again, this time with bullet holes, missing hubcaps, and no license plate. And as for who was driving that car, still a mystery.
We're going to solve what happened to Raja. This case is 100% solvable, and we will get a resolution here. It may not come tomorrow, but our promise to the community is that it will come. We need the support.
The waiting is heartbreaking for the McQueens, but they know the answers are still out there. And until they get them, they won't stop sharing Raja's name and photo.
They want a conviction, not an arrest. We all want the same thing.
It's very hard, and we just want to say we love and we miss her.
The FBI is offering a $25,000 reward for information that will lead to Rachel McQueen or her car. Crime Stoppers is also offering a $5,000 reward.
It's in the disappearance of a local mom. It is a missing persons case we've been covering since the very beginning.
Tomorrow marks 4 years since Rachel McQueen vanished. Investigators say they need just one more piece to solve this puzzle, and you can help.
Confirmed, sadly, this missing persons case has turned into a death investigation.
She spoke with the FBI, Cleveland Police. They have revealed some really key information to us as they get closer to solving this case.
Missing at 27 years old, Rachel McQueen, a mother, a student, a singer, and so much more, vanished on June 26, 2021. Her family heartbroken ever since.
Just don't give up hope. Like, just continue to pray and look, and if you know something, say something.
Hey.
Raja was last seen in her silver 2018 Nissan Sentra by a busy gas station near East 131st Street and Harvard Avenue early in the morning. Hours later, city surveillance cameras captured her car, now with bullet holes in the roof and rear passenger door, being driven by someone else. It was also missing hubcaps and a license plate. Raja and her car were never seen again.
And I think we are closer today than we ever have been. I firmly believe that we will get this case to a resolution.
Special Agent Andrew Burke with the FBI Cleveland Division and Detective Kevin Callahan with Cleveland Police gave us a major update in this investigation.
And since we last talked to you, we are now comfortable in saying that Raja's boyfriend, who is Stan Williams, is our person of interest in this case, as well as his brother, who's Sloan Mitchell. They are somebody that we have talked to, but we can say with confidence that, they are certainly our persons of interest in this case.
No one has been charged in connection to Raja's disappearance, but investigators believe Stan Williams knows what happened to her.
So is that who you believe was driving the car?
That is the boyfriend. Yeah, there's no question in regards to that. And when that car was driving away, that's when it was being followed by another car, and that would being driven by Stan's brother, Sloan. In that car with Sloan was another unidentified person that we're really pleading to try to identify.
What happened to Raja after the video ends? Detective Callahan says Williams told them he dropped her off at a different gas station. Callahan says they are unsure whether that's true.
It's live, and Jesse, you talked to a Cleveland family tonight desperate to find their missing loved one.
Yeah, 27-year-old Raja McQueen was last seen in Cleveland at the end of June. It has been a heartbreaking time for her family, a family that questions why resources from a multitude of agencies pour into some missing person cases and not others. Every time a phone rings, Raja McQueen's sisters pray that it's news.
Maybe today I'll get a call and say, you know, something about Raja, but every day I wake up, it's the same.
Raja is the youngest of 6 girls, a mom to 2 boys, and a woman with dreams for a bright future.
She loved music, loved God, loved her family.
But for 3 months now, the one and only dream Raja's sisters have is to wake up from their nightmare.
Because you got to go on with stuff in your daily life and work and live, and you still worry about your sibling, not knowing if they're dead or alive, or if you're ever going to see them again at all. You know, it's like, it's heartbreaking.
Raja was last seen at 7:30 in the morning on June 26th near East 131st Street in Cleveland. She was getting into her silver Nissan Sentra. Officials say 4 hours later, her car was spotted at Broadway and Union, but Raja was not the one behind the wheel.
She's missing, the car's missing, like she has not been home, like you didn't go to work, like I mean, it's just like she just vanished. I mean, you gotta be somewhere.
For months, the family has passed out flyers, gone door to door, and looked for answers themselves. Raja's sister Shamir says they get updates from police on the case, but it is minimal.
I'm not saying the police haven't been doing their part, I just don't think they have enough to do it.
Agony, they say, is only made worse when they see other missing women cases, mostly white women, that are thrust into the national spotlight with what seems to be a nationwide urgency to find them.
Just another black girl just missing. And I'm not saying no one is more important than the other, because she's not the only person that's missing. I just want those resources that everybody else is getting to at least apply for her.
And while they've accepted that Raja is missing, the thought of not ever finding her is unimaginable.
We will take her any way we can get her. We just want her to come home. I mean, it's just tired. We're so tired of not knowing.
I've reached out to Cleveland police multiple times for an update on Raja's case, but I haven't heard back. Crime Stoppers is offering a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to Raja or anyone involved in her disappearance. You can submit tips anonymously.
And really encapsulates what this is about and who they believe the main persons of interest are. There are 2, and it may surprise you to find out who they are. Take a look.
Missing at 27 years old, Raja McQueen, a mother, a student, a singer, and so much more, vanished on June 26, 2021. Her family heartbroken ever since.
Just don't give up hope. Like, just continue to pray and look, and if you know something, say something.
Hey. Raja was last seen driving her silver 2018 Nissan Sentra by a busy gas station near East 131st Street and Harvard Avenue early in the morning. Hours later, city surveillance cameras captured her car, now with bullet holes in the roof and rear passenger door, being driven by someone else. It was also missing hubcaps and a license plate. Raja and her car were never seen again.
And I think we're closer today than we ever have been. I firmly believe that we will get this case to a resolution.
Special Agent Andrew Burke with the FBI Cleveland Division and Detective Kevin Callahan with Cleveland Police gave us a major update in this investigation.
And since we last talked to you, we are now comfortable in saying that Raja's boyfriend, who is Stan Williams, is our person of interest in this case, as well as his brother, who's Sloan Mitchell. They are somebody that we have talked to, but they are, we can say with confidence that they are certainly our persons of interest in this case.
No one has been charged in connection to Raja's disappearance, but investigators believe Stan Williams knows what happened to her.
So is that who you believe was driving the car?
That is the boyfriend. Yeah, there's no question in regards to that. And when that car was driving away, that's when it was being followed by another car, and that would being driven by Stan's brother, Sloan. In that car with Sloan was another unidentified person that we're really pleading to try to identify.
What happened to Raja after the video ends? That's what investigators need to find out. They need that one tip that could help find Raja and her car and get justice for her family.
And that's really where now this comes in from someone who knows. It's two people who know. It's the investigators at the lead of this investigation that you saw in Sarah's story. You're going to see the majority of the interview she was able to carry out, and explains a little bit more about where they are in the case, the unfortunate side of things that they do not believe that Raja is still with us at this point, and why they are now pointing at the boyfriend and his brother as the lead suspects at this point, or at least persons of interest.
We're marking 4 years since Raja McQueen has gone missing. Can you talk about your hopes for this case and where everything stands?
We obviously hope for a resolution to the case. We've hoped for a resolution of the case from day one. And I think we are closer today than we ever have been. Kind of one last little piece that we need. So Kevin, I think he and I talked about what we can share with your listeners and your viewers to try to help get that piece rolling. You want to expand on that a little bit?
As you know, sir, we've been investigating this now for 4 years. It has not stopped, in that 4 years. And over the course of time, we've interviewed a ton of people, done a lot of work on this case. And since we last talked to you, we are now comfortable in saying that Raja's boyfriend, who is Stan Williams, is our person of interest in this case, as well as his brother, who's Sloan Mitchell. They are somebody that we have talked to, but they are, we can say with confidence that they are certainly our persons of interest in this case. And it's something we have not released to the local media, but we are comfortable now where we're at in this whole investigation to be able to release that information.
What makes you think this, and what do you believe happened to Raja?
Well, we've interviewed, like I said, quite a few people. Obviously, we're not going to get into the details of those interviews, but based on our investigation up until this point, with everything that we've learned, like I said, we're very confident and pretty firm that Stan Williams knows, what happened to Stan, what happened to Raja, and where Raja is at.
Do you believe she's still alive?
No, we don't believe that. Our investigation is, Raja was a person that talked to her family all the time. She has a couple of kids. So for somebody to go missing now for 4 years and have absolutely no contact with anybody, it doesn't look good, and we don't feel that we're going to have that kind of positive closure on this case.
I mean, look, investigations are based on reason and common sense. Those are kind of the underlying tenets to everything that we do in an investigation. And reason and common sense in this case tells you that not only does Stan have some involvement in what happened, and certainly his brother for assisting in some way, but the fact that Raja has not had any communication with family that she loved, the community that she served, and was a huge part of, just tells you that this, you can reach a logical conclusion in that scenario. And it's difficult for us to say, and we don't like to talk about those kind of things, especially publicly, until we've satisfied our own doubts, and our investigation, is at a point, unfortunately, where we're trying to uncover exactly what happened to her, but we know that something did happen to her. And there's no question in this case, somebody has information, somebody who's not related to what happened to her, has information that they just have not felt comfortable sharing with us to this point. And there are, countless members of her community and family out there that are grieving her loss every single day. And all we want to do is put those pieces together so that they can have that understanding of what happened.
So the big key here now is finding her. That would be helpful to the case. Really,
Finding her or her car. We still don't know where that is. We've offered a reward, and the reward still stands. So there's up to $25,000 reward from the FBI and an additional $5,000 from Crime Stoppers that we'd be happy to give away for anyone who can lead us to information about what happened to the car, where the car is, or otherwise bring some conclusion to the case.
Do you believe there are people who you've spoken to who are maybe withholding information that could be helpful?
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. So if any of those people want to revisit the situation, our phone line is always open. We take tips on a regular basis. We follow up every lead. We're happy to let people remain anonymous. They do have to confide in us to some degree, but we can absolutely keep tips anonymous. We want to have that conversation, I think, more than anything. If somebody would pick up the phone and either talk to Kevin or myself, we can take it from there. But we need to have the conversation with the person that has that information.
So do you believe it was the boyfriend or ex-boyfriend that was driving that car? I remember we saw a video of she was last seen at the gas station and then the car was driven away. So is that who you believe was driving the car?
That is the boyfriend. Yeah, there's no question in regards to that. And when that car was driving away, that's when it was being followed by another car, and that would being driven by Stan's brother, Sloan. In that car with Sloan was another unidentified person that we're really pleading to try to identify and to give us the missing information in regards to what happened, exactly what happened to Raja after they go off video, or the video ends. Stan simply says that he dropped her off at a gas station down there at Broadway and Union area, and just left her there. We have no reason to believe that's true.
When you urge people to come forward, especially someone you really want to talk to, do you try to remind people, this is a person we're speaking of, this is a young mom, there are so many family members left behind, so many people grieving, as you said. That's really what it comes down to, is getting them answers.
Right. Put yourself in their shoes, right? There are a lot of people, unfortunately, in this community who have walked a mile in those shoes. And although it never brings your loved one back, it does help you move on. And you could talk to, unfortunately, countless families, like I said, in our community who have been in this situation where they didn't have answers. And I think every one of them would say they still miss the person that they lost, but it's easier to move on with their life and to understand the kind of permanency of the situation when you have an answer. I don't know anyone that's ever regretted having an answer. And it's a kind of an unfathomable thing if you haven't gone through it, to live with that unknown. And I think that's what we're trying more than anything to message to our community, that help be a part of that solution for somebody. We have done a lot of work on this case, and I wish that objective physical evidence could solve every crime, and it just can't. The reality of the situation is we need people. We need people to talk to us and be willing to step out of their comfort zone and take a risk and put their trust in us, that we will do everything in our power to respect their wishes to remain anonymous, or however they want to be involved in the case or not involved. But we just desperately need that information.
And how much it's a part of what you do is to get justice for these families.
That's very important. To piggyback off what Andy was saying, I've been doing missing person investigations in Cleveland for about 15 years now. So, and I have unfortunately had, this isn't my first case like this under these circumstances. And to have to give the family closure is a big thing for for Andy and I, and for the Cleveland Police Department and the FBI overall. It's a big thing, and to be able to give that family justice is also is a part of it as well. I think closure is maybe a little more important to the family, to be able to have the person back, even though they may not be with us anymore. But that is a big thing for family. And then the justice, I just had unfortunately another one just last week where we located him, and the father was so thankful that we were able to. He goes, just having my son back is so paramount for me and so important, and we'll let the rest of it play out as is. And it's the same thing, with most of these cases that turn like this. So getting the justice is important as well, very, very important. But I think the closure for family is probably a little bit more important, quite honestly.
How much in this case and similar cases to this, you have the physical evidence and surveillance and video and things like that, but are you also relying on, social media and the footprint of people online, because that's such a huge part of everything now?
Well, I think one of the things you said that is really important to emphasize is what else are we relying on? And we're making a big deal here about somebody coming forward and giving us some information. I want to be very clear that we have a lot of evidence in this case about what happened and when it happened. We just kind of need that last key. We're probably not at a point where we can share the details about every single piece of evidence that we've collected, but over the past 4 years, that's what we've been doing. We've been working with social media and phone records and search warrant results, subpoenas. You mentioned surveillance video. All of those things, come together to try to paint the picture of exactly what happened with Raja. We just need one more piece to try to get us there. And we're not even committed at this point to exactly what happened. We're certainly committed to the fact that something happened. I think, again, reason and common sense would tell you something happened. But we need some context, I guess, to the evidence that we have collected. And we've told you from day one that we are beyond a shadow of a doubt certain that somebody has information. That's because we know kind of the progression of that day. We know how many people both Stan and Sloan and Raja were in contact with, and the timeline all says that without a doubt other people, either wittingly or unwittingly played a role.
So what's next? Anything else you want to add? You've obviously put out the plea for help. Is there anything else people can do?
I think it's just important to reiterate that, missing person cases, crime cases in general, we rely on the public a lot, for information in regards to criminal cases. Well, missing person cases aren't any different. The city of Cleveland in particular is really diligent in regards to keeping an eye on the missing persons. It's a big thing in the city of Cleveland. And I think if people, just continue to keep up with the missing persons cases in general, but cases like this that have been around now for 4 years, I think everybody in the city of Cleveland is familiar with Raja McQueen. And I think if they can just, keep her in their minds and in the forefront, we keep doing stuff like this to keep it out there, that we'll get the information that we're looking for, and a person that knows information that could help us will have the courage to come forward. And I think that's how we're gonna get to the end, and give that family closure that they deserve.
Yeah, thank you for keeping an eye on it. And like Kevin said, everyone should be aware of this case. And if they're not, I would beg them to listen to our previous interviews, to watch some of the news coverage. You guys have done an outstanding job. really keeping her name and the fact that we're working on this case out there. I would put in a plea one more time, to take us up on this offer for a reward. It's out there for a reason, and we would love to issue it.
$30,000 for the person who has that information, whether it's the passenger in Raja McQueen's car that had the bullet holes in it, whether it's someone else, as they said, they think the car may have been taken to a chop shop. It is easy to make an anonymous phone call, and you could be eligible for that $30,000 reward.
So yeah, you guys heard that. I actually came across a video of Raja like a couple of weeks before she went missing. And in her video, it doesn't seem like anything was bothering her, like she felt threatened for her life or anything like that. She was just talking about her music and being in touch with the Lord and just being a holy type of person. Whatever they did to her it's just sad. I mean, why not tell where her body is or put her body somewhere where someone can at least find it? But those two brothers are suspects, and hopefully they get arrested soon. It's sad that it took 4 years for them to even get to this conclusion when they knew back then in the beginning that a guy and who possibly it was driving that vehicle. But I guess, like they said, they needed to do more investigation. But I'm going to play this video for y'all.
What's up, everybody? For those who do not know me, my name is Raja McQueen. And I just kind of wanted to make this video because I pointed out something in my album, on my EP, that I kind of just really want to express and like point out to you guys. And it is on one of my songs, which is Changes. And on that particular song, I use one swear word at the end of the song. And in the moment that I was recording the song, like this song was like one of my powerful songs and a very great testimony that I give about, things that I experienced in my life, just growing up. And when I wrote this song, I went to God and asked God to like help me to like use my music in a way that I can express myself without using like any source of profanity or like provocative language. And towards the end of the song, I use a swear word that just one. And I was so amped when I was doing this in the studio, and I was like really debating whether I should like really like not use that word. And I made up my mind that I wasn't going to use that word. I was going to replace it with like something different. And I didn't at the time. And by the time like the EP got finished, it was kind of like too late to just go back and change it, which I should really strive to do, because I really want my listeners to know that, I make clean cut music. And, as a Christian rapper, I want all of my music to be clean. I want my music to be clear and like precise and really founded on Jesus. Even in the midst of me sharing my testimony through my music, I always want Jesus to be the foundation of it. And
we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confused. From the streets to the world, keep it real, no cap. You're breaking headlines, put the truth on the map. Call these we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confused.